Hi, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Um, Hope you're having a great day. Update today is I've been participating on a few other calls, getting a little bit more information. In fact, I just participated as a presenter, as a panelist on a Hartford Business Journal Returning to Work uh, webinar that the state put on, Hartford Business Journal put on. So it was interesting. They had two folks that are part of the Reopen Connecticut committee. They had an attorney talking about what employers need to know, and then there were two of us representing industry. One was the president of Connecticut, and then me. So it's nice that HABCO is being put on the forefront for all these other companies to listen to and to provide for us to be able to provide some of the things that we're doing as a guidance for other companies. Um, the interesting thing that I heard, one of the people that was on the panelist is the doctor, Charles Leet, that's on the Reopen Connecticut panel, and he was talking about testing. So he said, remember, I think I talked 2 weeks ago about the criteria to open up the state, that we needed to get to 42,000 tests per week. He said right now we are at 45,000, so we've met that criteria. So all things considered, all of the elements of phase one have been met. Significant conversation still on contact tracing and what that means and how we each play a part in that, which is I think, going to be very important going forward. Um, Not much talk about salons. I'm still pretty bummed about that, but the conversation was more around. There was quite a few folks. There was a web page that was put together. There was a petition, I guess, going around, not petition, but a Facebook page that people were joining, and plenty of employees of salons saying they didn't feel comfortable, and plenty of salon owners that felt they needed more time to be ready. So I've got different opinions on that. I'm a believer of if you're not ready, don't open, but those that are could. But it's not my call for sure. So that was interesting conversation on that. The other thing that I thought was interesting that they were talking about was phase two. And right now, phase two is expected to go into effect. At this point, they're targeting July 1st. But so much of phase two timing and what's in phase two is going to depend on how phase one goes. What are the results of phase one? Are there an increase in any new cases, an increase in hospitalizations, or anything like that? But one of the other things that was part of phase two that I thought was interesting was the protocols for retesting. Right now, there's still you get tested out in the rest of the world. You get tested once, and then basically you go back to the end of the line unless there's some surgery or something significant that comes up, and they want to be able to quickly ramp that up to be able to do retesting of individuals, especially retesting of return to work folks. If you tested positive, multiple retests and multiple protocols to be able to go through to be able to get to go back or feel comfortable. So I think really at the end of the day, everything is based off a moment in time. And what was talked about today could be different tomorrow based on other situations. And as you see, I think our governor is following New York. And yesterday, as far as the salons go, we followed Rhode Island. The governor of Rhode Island and Governor Lamont made that decision together and to be consistent. Um, so I think there's going to be some more information coming out. I'm really interested to see what happens over the next 2 days, see how things go. I think it's going to be interesting to see how businesses that are now able to open up, what they do. Are they adhering to the strict protocols that all the essential businesses should have been adhering to? Are they going to stretch stretch the line a little bit? Outdoor seating. I've already seen, at least even in my town, and heard some conversations about, okay, 50% capacity outdoor seating, but taking over the parking lot to have more seats. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what these businesses do, how they adhere to it, how they interpret the law or the guidance, and to see what that does for phase two. They definitely started talking about in-person venues. Started talking mainly about trade associations and CBIA and the different meetings they have with 500-600 people. And at this point, the CBIA is not planning on having any of those in-person meetings, but there are plenty of concert halls and movie theaters and things like that that want to open up and are trying very hard to put protocols in place so that they can start to get back to work as well. The doctor also talked about his concern with the unknown. He was talking about, there's a lot we still don't know. We're starting to see, I'm calling it mutations of the virus. We're now starting to see it pop up in children in a little bit of a different form, but initially we thought it didn't affect young children, and now we're finding out that it does. So to me, I think that's still where so much of this is going to go, is the unknown, and still trying to do everything in people's powers to protect against an all-out going back to normal. So that's my update from the calls I was on today. Is pretty interesting. I'm glad to participate in these. I think it's good for Habco, and it's also good for me personally to hear firsthand and be part of these conversations, so I can relay it to everybody here. Leggett Street, the move, Steve Bennett and the crew that he had working with him worked their tails off the last 2 days, and all of the ESS and MTTs have moved over to Leggett Street. So now Eastern Park is completely wide open in those 3 bays, so that Engine Alliance could now have that entire facility and be compliant. So we could be compliant with the increase in their contract that they want. Otherwise, again, last week of the month, let's stay focused. Let's get this stuff out the door. Let's get the docks cleaned up. Let's get inspection cleaned up. Let's stay focused on F-135. Containers, we're getting close to be able to complete the first one. Our ESS, we're waiting for source to come in. MTTs, we've still got a few roadblocks, but really big opportunity in front of us if we can nail this. And oh, by the way, nail everything else. Don't go late on PZL. Don't go late on Sikorsky, and make sure we can get these next orders going. So that's it. That's it from me today. Have a great afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.